Hello everyone, my name is Ben Claney, and this is my persuasive speech. So I decided to do my persuasive speech on a game that I recently started playing again called Final Fantasy XIV. I recently started playing it not because of the new expansion that released, but because I never really got into it before. The reason why I first started playing it was because wanted to play with a friend, and then me and that friend had a falling out, and I stopped. It's out mostly because I couldn't get past a searching quest because I couldn't get anyone to team up with me because you needed to have a team to do it. The class that I liked the most was the Dark Knight class, which is considered one of the worst classes by the fandom. But I don't really agree with that. Yes, some of the abilities do make it seem terrible, but there's ways around it. If you're smart enough and ingenuitive enough, you can actually just straight up ignore the bad sides of this class, because all classes have bad sides, and if you're good enough, you're able to ignore those. And that's precisely why I wanted to talk about the Dark Knight class and why it isn't as bad as people seem to think. To start off, I want to talk about the one ability that Dark Knights have that can be considered the worst ability of the class. And that is the Living Dead class as seen by the hourglass in the image right here. It is unlocked at level 50 via a job quest. It is an instant and its cooldown is 300 seconds according to the official FinalFantasy14.com website. The ability says that it grants the effect of Living Dead. When HP is reduced to 0 while under the effect of Living Dead, instead of becoming KO'd, meaning you drop down to 0 and are dead, you gotta be either auto-revive or be revived by one of the healers, or the healer if you're playing in a party of 4, or your status will be changed to Living Dead. No, Walking Dead. So Living Dead has a duration of 10 seconds, which means you can only use it when you're at low health. If you're about to die, if you're about to get hit by a killing blow, then you want to use this ability. Only because while under the effect of Walking Dead, most attacks will not lower your HP to below 1. If before the Walking Dead timer runs out, HP is 100% restored, the effect of Walking Dead will fade. If not, you will be KO'd. And Walking Dead has a duration of 10 seconds. And that is where people have a problem with this class, because it means that the healers only have 10 seconds to heal you from 1 HP, while you're also taking damage. And mostly, only limit breaks can prevent that. And limit breaks are abilities that are unlocked while you are in a dungeon. Each class has each role has 3 different limit breaks, with each class having their very own one at the third level. And what this means is that healers will need to focus on you and only you when you are at that HP, which, if they're actually doing their job properly, they won't need to do. All the tank classes have a way to mitigate damage. They have multiple ways, in fact, but they each have a main one. Dark Knight has Living Dead. But what exactly is the Dark Knight? on IGN.com, they actually talk about that. The official description on what does the Dark Knight do? The Dark Knight wields a greatsword into battle, along with the unholy dark arts to defend their teammates and ward off their foes. Additional feats include, but are not limited to, outrunning death as a zombie, no less. Leeching HP from enemies, meaning your attacks are taking the damage that you have received and healing it. I mean, essentially with the blood of your enemies. In summoning a shadowy simulacrum to fight alongside them at higher levels. And what this means is that the Dark Knight even has its own ways of healing itself to help lessen the blow that Living Dead could cause. If you're playing in a party of 4, that means that you are the only tank. Now, while this class might not be good for that, playing in a party of 4, if you're in a party of 8, however, it is great. You might not need to be the main tank. The other tanks are much better at that. Right? So you could be the secondary tank, meaning when enemies come in like reinforcements come in, you grab those reinforcements. You pull them towards you and start going at them, while some of the DPS goes after them as well, and the rest of the DPS keeps targeting the boss, or whoever's calling the reinforcements. GameRant.com even has a Final Fantasy XIV Dark Knight pro tips. One of those pro tips is on the Blackest Night barrier. What that ability does is that it creates a barrier around a target that absorbs damage totaling 25% of the target's maximum HP for 7 seconds. This can be used on allies or yourself. Being used on allies means you can save one of the squishy allies of yours from getting KO'd by the boss. Well, it's because it's going to absorb 25% of their maximum HP. And say their maximum HP is 10,000. Then it's going to absorb 25% of that. It's going to absorb 2,500 damage before it breaks. And it grants Dark Arts when the barrier is completely absorbed. The Dark Arts effect consume Dark Arts instead of MP to execute the Edge of Shadow or Flood of Shadow ability. Anyways, which means your allies, if that goes away, if the barrier gets completely destroyed, you have a new ability that you can use as a combo with the Blackest Night. For free without consuming HP. Not HP, MP, or mana points. This is especially good when you're in a long battle. Tanks, their MP doesn't restore as fast as the other classes. This is because of the fact that they're an HP-oriented class. Some of the tanks don't even have the ability to use MP at all. At low levels. But how can the worst ability be stopped? How can you counter that? Well, if you're playing in a party of 8, you have a healer. You have one healer focused on you, or both of them. When you're down to that, they focus on healing you. One focuses on healing you, the other focuses on the rest of the party. While you are also drinking potions, so that then you can heal yourself as well much faster, to try and stop that 100% damage, 100% KO by getting to 100% HP. I hope you think differently of the Dark Knight class now after hearing about some of the abilities that it has. And have a great day.